come into the coaching program, they set goals for 100 days. And then we break it down to 14-day goals. And every 14 days, we have a catch-up. What we do is we look at what has happened in the last 14 days. And we have one person who is here in the room, actually, who is part of the program.
Thank you.
Would you like to share something about your experience about being in the program?
Yeah. Well,
okay, this is not planned, that's good, I know. But just speak your heart, just say.
I was going through a lot of struggles, and I thought like I met you at the right time. So it's all about goal settings and going behind that goal. How do you track and you track the progress. So for me, I had a lot of physical issues as well as mental issues. I think half of them is solved because of this. So that's all I need to say. So I feel good about it. I see the problem.
How is it helping that it's a group coaching?
I mean, more than, I think half of my problem solved here in the others' issues. And the way you give the solutions, they come and share their problems and how they're overcoming issues. Most of the time I feel like my problem was the biggest. When I heard their stories and how they overcome that bigger problem than me, and why can't I? So that question always hunted me, and I started coming to Awesome Workers, find the time and I'm coming here. So something is happening. Thank you.
So Awesome Workers is how I generate revenue and make money and everything. That's my bread and butter. For those of you who are wondering, because they always ask how do I do it, but at Awesome Workers there is a lady called Rita. I always get it mixed up. She gave this bag and she said, Samir, just pass it around the room and see what magic happens. So every week what happens is, we pass it around and at the end some magic happens, and I don't know how it happens. So just pass it around and you can drop in whatever you want as contribution to the whole program, and you're most welcome to. And now what I want you to do is, those exercises we were at the beginning. Take them apart.
Yeah.
And put them together for Thank you. Who are you?
Who am I? I am a radio presenter currently. I host the evening drive show on City 1016. For those of you not familiar, it's a Bollywood radio station. And I get paid to talk and play music. That's the simplistic definition of what I do. It's a lot more complicated, it's a lot more layered. I've been part of radio for 13 years now.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a thing currently in my life.
And
but
enjoy it.
I enjoy it, yes.
We can actually do this when I don't speak at all for an hour, right?
No, I just finished that for 4 hours. So that's what I do. That's my profession currently.
How do you get into it?
A complete fluke,
Accident.
complete accident. I was in Bangalore and I went to this radio station, this really cool radio station that had started. They were playing English music. They were the only radio station in the country that was playing English music. And I was like, okay, let's be a part of it, because we listen to music, right? Music is part of every day, whether you're listening to radio or whether you're listening to music on your own. Music kind of influences how you feel. So there was, I think I heard of a sales job opening. That time I was in advertising, in client servicing, hated it. I'm so glad I quit when I did. Which company? Bangalore?
You want to say?
No, I don't think so. Actually, it's a really small company. I hope it's shut down. But I don't know. If
It's not on your LinkedIn profile.
No, it's not. It's very strategically not on any of my profiles. But yes, I was in client servicing. I lied to my boss. I said I'm going for lunch. I didn't. I was actually going for this interview to the radio station to apply for a sales job. And for some strange reason, I met the programming head. So in a radio station, should I explain?
Yeah, please.
Programming. Okay. So a programming head is somebody who's part of just what you hear on air. That's it. So just the program of the radio station. So that's the creative team, or so we like to think. And then there's the sales team, and then there's the marketing team, and then you've got various components to a radio station. So I went and met the programming head of this radio station. So I'm talking to him, and he gives me the weirdest expressions. I'm like, okay, does that mean do I leave? Because I don't know what that means. So he's like, no, can you do a voice test? At that point, I didn't know what in the world a voice test was. So I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, okay, just pick 2 of your favorite songs and introduce them. So he just made it seem like it's the easiest thing in the world. Just introduce them. I was like, and at that point, when somebody puts you in that spot, you can't think of 2 of your favorite songs. You really can't. It's like, what are your favorite things? Anyway, I went into the studio, I did a few demos. He made me go back and forth like that for about 2 months. And then before I knew
For 2
it,
months?
yeah.
What do you mean?
I think he
Demo?
just liked my face.
Ah.
Honestly, yeah. Yeah, but no. I think it was a lot of it was a lot of training as well, because that's the first time that I was on air or
For
behind
2
the
months
mic.
you're going for lunch. Yeah.
Yeah. How did that? I have no idea. No wonder I left that job. But yeah. I finally got the job and I was in radio.
So no, really, for 2 months you're just going during lunchtime?
No, over the weekends as well,
Okay.
and then after work. Yeah. No, not during just lunch. I had to get very clever with my excuses over the 2 months.
Okay.
So now when I give my boss excuses, you know where that homework is coming from. Okay, that's
Can you share
where
some
that-
examples?
A lot of people died in my family. And fell ill a lot. It was like a sick family.
After they died, right?
Yeah. So in my entire family, a lot of people were ill for a lot of.
So chicken pox and then something
Yeah, my granddad slipped, and this happened to my grandma. God rest their soul, but yeah, so those always work.
You know, the steps to heaven are very slick.
I'm not going to heaven. I signed that off long back. So yes, that's how I got into radio. Tried leaving in between, tried leaving in between, tried doing marketing, but something just drew me back to radio again. So having that 13 years.
So why do you go in the first place? Just because you like English music, or
Why did I what?
I mean, the idea of radio, how did it enter your mind?
Honestly, being on air or being a presenter or being part of a programming department or the creative team didn't cross my mind at all. I fell in love with it. It was like an arranged marriage. I got married to radio and then fell in love. Radio didn't attract me because it was something that I was passionate about or that I was curious about. It was just something that intrigued me because I couldn't understand. So I've been doing theatre for a very long time. And when you're doing a play or when you're performing on stage, you have eye contact. So you've got your face, people can see your entire body and that's how you communicate. But for me on radio, somebody can become your best friend. You don't necessarily have to see them ever, but they're your best friend because they talk to you when you're stressed. They play your favorite kind of music. You're thinking of a song and 3 seconds later that song is playing and you're like, how did you know? How did you know that's the song I was thinking about? So the fact that you use just auditory cues, it's just my voice, it's just sound effects, it's just music. How, with using just one of your senses, do you make the kind of connection that you need? I was always curious about that.
How did life prepare you for this?
How did life prepare me for this? Wow, that's a really interesting question.
How do you come with such question?
I don't think. How did life prepare me for?
For picking up the cues and understanding what they would like to hear and being acute to their needs.
You mean as a radio professional or as somebody outside radio?
It doesn't matter, I think, whether it's radio or otherwise. I think you are perceptive to people.
Yeah. Okay. Now I get it.
Sort of connected to the subconscious.
Yeah. It's
It's a very deep question.
I'm an only child. So the only company that I really had at home was no company. So whenever I used to be around people, I became a very curious listener. So I listen to people very well. I think that's one of my biggest strengths. And I think that the a person's tone or a particular word that somebody's used, I pick up on that quite well.
You were really young.
From when I was young. Yeah, I was a really serious child. My mother thought there was so much wrong with me. It was the opposite. But I was I was a very serious child. I was always, they were like psychology books lying in my house.
Desmond Morris?
Sorry?
Desmond Morris?
No. Like that titles I don't even remember.
The author of Body Watching.
Oh,
Man
okay.
Watching, Body Watching.
Okay, no, I'm not.
Books about being observing.
So, which is, yeah, I think that's how life prepared me for it. Being an only child prepared me to be a better listener.
And how do you change from being that person who was so serious into fun loving?
It's just a front.
That's just
It's just a front. No, I think, wow. Yeah, no, I think it's, I'm not,
you just got around.
I think that it's true with all of us. We have so many masks, right, that we walk around with every day. So you have the work mask, you have the marriage mask, you have the when you're just chilling with friends mask, you have. So I think it's not one or the other. It's not you're either serious or you're fun loving. It's whatever situation presents itself, you wear a different mask for that situation. And sometimes, at least for me, it's not just for me, but it's also to make the other person comfortable as well. So I think for me, it's always been about juggling which mask to wear. Doesn't mean that the mask that I'm wearing now is a fake mask, because I know the connotation with a mask is that that's fake, not necessarily. It's just different sides of you. Yeah, it's just different sides of you.
It could be emotional intelligence level.
Yeah.
Because you're actually showing the person in front of you what he or she is expected to see, and this is how you get along.
Yeah, you're mirroring them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this has all come into so much of play as a director for you.
As a director, as a play director, yes. Yes, it has, definitely. I think theatre taught me,
How do you get into theatre?
it's quite literally in my blood. So my biological dad and mum met while they were doing a play. My mother and father played daughter and father. I don't know how that romance started. I'm really glad I don't know the details about that. But so they were performers, and ever since I was a kid, my mom she never worried about whether I was good at basketball or swimming or karate. It was like, are you in the school play? I'm like, yeah, I'm playing a tree. So it started. With me playing a tree, and it never stopped because I love it.
What was that role?
I know not. I stopped playing a tree, and people actually give me lines. But yeah, it started with that, and it hasn't stopped. Just performing on stage is, if I could do it for a living, I'd do it.
Just for the safety of Samir, there is no karate, right? Only.
There is no little bit of it.
Take a side,
I
please.
think I went up to green belt, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you have black?
Sorry?
Do you have black? All of us have black belts.
What did you say biological dad?
Because when I was in my 7th standard, I found out that the stepdad that I'm living with is not my actual dad. I had a very tough childhood. I grew up in a home that seemed like it was together, but it wasn't. It was a broken home. And I wear that as a badge of honor, quite honestly. I am who I am. I've been able to sympathize, or empathize rather, as much as I have in my life with other people because of my broken background and the scars that has left all over me. So that's why I'm my biological dad. Because I never met him, I never got to meet him. I found out in my 7th standard that I had a biological dad. And that explained a lot about my relationship with my stepdad. Along came daddy issues, which I'm still trying to resolve. But I never got to meet him because he passed away, and that's how I found out that I had a biological dad. So that's why I said that. Wow.
Any questions before?
Sorry, how about? dampening the mood.
So you said you were like a single child and you turned out to be
Yeah,
a
still am
listener.
a single child.
Yeah, so you
That I
turned
know
out
of.
to be a listener. So you became a good listener.
Yeah.
So and then now you are a good speaker. So how did being a listener to speaker journey happen? Like it's like
I think the more you listen, the more it helps you figure out exactly what to say. Because you don't say things just for the heck of saying it. I don't know how to answer your question exactly. Also,
like listener can turn out anything, but by
I think
actually
the
getting
the listener in me became the performer. The performer in me became the radio professional. I think that's exactly what happened. That was the transformation. So because I was a great listener, for some strange reason, I don't know if I'm a great. Wow, I just said I'm a great performer. I'm really humble. I'm not this vain usually.
Are you a reader as well?
Sorry?
Do you read as well? Like,
Yeah. I can't sleep if I don't read a few pages. So yeah, I think it kind of transformed organically into me being a speaker. Also, when you're an only child, you don't get to talk that much. So now I'm taking
Yeah,
all
so
of that.
that was the point I was
Yeah,
thinking.
because you don't get to speak to anybody, right? But now I get to speak to 1.7 million people. It's like, oh my god, I've got all the siblings that I ever wanted. So yeah.
Do you actually feel that they are there when you're speaking on radio?
That's
You have a visual cue or something in your mind that there are a lot of people you're speaking to, or
yeah.
you do?
Interestingly, not a lot of people. It actually helps me focus on just one person. And in our radio training, right from the beginning,
Yeah.
we were told that when you are talking on radio, always make it seem like I'm talking to just one person.
Yeah.
Because the minute you say all of you, I kind of alienate. It's like, oh, so I'm just like anybody. Except if I say you, hey, your favorite song is coming, the person listening, the auditory cue is, it's for me. So your day might have been complete shit. Like you could have gone, can I say shit?
This is not radio.
Okay, not again. I can say
You keep saying it again and again.
So your day has been complete
Shit.
Thank you.
That's what me.
But if I kind of make you feel like I'm talking just to you or I'm there just for you,
The shit goes away.
so the visual cue is actually not a number of people. It's one person. It just makes the whole thing a lot more special for me as well.
When Siddharth came,
It's the same.
yeah, he said he used to keep the
Yeah, he
photo.
just copies me all the time. We talked about it. He just stole my answer.
He said he used to keep the photo of his best friend in front of him when he speaks. That's what he said in the
Keep
show,
the
right?
photo?
Not
No,
mine.
no, not
His wife would have it. Very
his best friend. used to-
So how did you transition from English radio to English radio?
What do you mean?
I don't
English.
understand.
English
I
to
think
English.
I heard your first job was with the
English
English radio
Yeah.
channel,
Yeah.
and then you transitioned into Hindi or English.
So I grew up. Is anybody from Delhi here? So I grew. I was going to use a word which I'm not going to use now, but
You already used.
I grew up in Delhi, which is where I picked up the Hindi from, and my stepdad was Punjabi. So my childhood's been Devanand and my childhood's been Kishore Kumar and all of them. So I knew Bollywood while I was growing up. Except when you're in Bangalore, you do automatically assume that you're better than the rest, which means Hindi is not a language that you should know, or Bollywood is not the kind of music that you should be listening to, because when there's Def Leppard, who's Kishore Kumar, right? So I went the Def Leppard way because mob mentality, right? And Bangalore, anybody from Bangalore?
Yeah, sort of.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Everybody feels that. So you're reflecting it right now. I'm mirroring the same effect.
Because in Bangalore, we're so
He always
elitist.
says this. I'm from Bangalore.
We're so elitist. Let's admit it. My heart's in Bangalore.
Yeah, so
My heart's.
how do you move from Delhi to Bangalore?
I ran.
You ran.
Yeah.
really?
No, so,
All the way.
so I'll finish your question first. So because I knew Bollywood already, Then the cool side of me joined the cool English radio station and was very proud that she has nothing to do with Bollywood anymore. Then the offer from Dubai came and they said, Bollywood radio station. So I got a call from Dubai saying Bollywood radio station. I was like, okay. So then I went onto the internet. Thankfully that existed by then. And I was like, what are the latest songs? Because I had to send an entire demo, except I don't know what Hindi music sounds like anymore. So I listened to the few songs and I put it together. Whatever Hindi I did remember, I kind of put that into my links as well. Thankfully, I faked it well enough for them to say, okay, you have the job. So that was the transition. It was a lot of faking.
From English radio for 10 years or so.
Change, it's been there for ages already.
So English radio for 10 years or so, and then Dubai. How long have you been here?
6 years.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So English radio before that, and now 6 years. Yeah.
Good. My perception, I'm from Delhi and I've been in Dubai for a few years, is that English radio jockeys.
Yeah.
Fuse what, 21?
Huh? Is that English radio jockeys have an accent and a twang and an attitude.
In Dubai.
No, wherever.
Worldwide. Okay.
But perception,
Okay.
may not be reality.
Yeah.
But then I find it difficult for to envision a English jockey doing English radio. So therefore my question.
Yeah.
Good, you act well.
6 years, she's not acting anymore. She's doing
Do I have a radio voice?
A voice for the radio?
Has anybody heard me on air here? Do I have a radio voice? I do have a radio voice?
I don't know. It's
Sure.
not
What's your show
the
name?
question or
What's your show name?
Drive Master GoGo.
You heard me. Do I have a radio voice? No.
I didn't heard you like as in you're speaking now, so I don't know what.
Guys, tune into my show.
So what are you timing?
This reflects really badly. My
When are you
boss
on
should not be
radio?
seeing this.
So this
This is a show and came over.
This is not amongst the 1.7 which you see. That's why.
Imagine my boss watches this. She's like, how many people listen to your show? I'm like, none of them. I get fired tomorrow.
I will listen now.
You listen, okay?
You do it solo, like 2-3 persons.
I have a co-host. I have Lokesh as my co-host.
What is the signature for your program? Because every program actually has songs playing in and then people coming and speaking over. There are a lot of these RJs who are doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
How does yours stand out?
I think Lokesh and I have a interesting dynamic on Drive Master GoGo where our roles are reversed. Where he spends more time in the kitchen, I run away from the kitchen. I'm into gadgets and electronics, and he's technologically really bad. So in terms of that, it's that really nice male-female stereotype that gets flipped on its head with us. So we do a lot of that. We're very good friends off air, and it comes across on air. Neither of us is ever afraid to laugh at ourselves, he brings out, and I mean this respectfully, but he brings out the heartiest side of me, which is brilliant, which is really good.
What is that?
He's speaking skills of photographers.
Like he brings out the less sophisticated side of it.
Give me an example.
The word
No, you don't bring out the Gandhi.
I will try.
You have to go to the studio, man.
Yeah, you have to go. Yeah, listen to my show.
Is that the only show that you do?
Yeah, that's the only show that I do. That's
Happens every day.
happens every weekday, 5 to 9 p.m. Yeah.
This sounds like very most of
No, that's Rohit Jekaran. So he
Rohit.
was
He
my
started.
co-host. Yeah. He's not. He left radio. He left radio. Yeah.
So when you do radio, you mentioned mask. You know,
Wearing mask,
Yes,
yeah.
wearing mask. Which actually I don't agree because you should more say a role than a mask because a mask is very fixed and you seem to be very vivid and full of life and expression. A mask is more to hide behind.
Right.
You more play a role as an actress than wearing a mask, in my opinion. You
Okay.
know? So what type of attitude, because that's after all an attitude or a composition will you put when you are behind the mic? Or are you just yourself?
So the tricky part about being ourselves is that if we've had a really bad day, I can't let you know because you've had a bad day. So I have to. So before we go in, and I think this is, if you ask me what the most challenging part about my job would be, it would be this. Because before you enter the studio, you kind of have to put a band-aid on everything that is happening. So if you have a headache, if you have had a fight at home, if you're going through a divorce, if your mom's sick, if somebody's died, or whatever it is, you cannot, when that mic comes on, let anybody know that there's anything wrong with you, because that is not your role as someone who's behind the mic. So I think the mindset when I do switch on the mic is that beyond this, nothing else exists. There is nobody else. All I'm doing is, if I have a co-host, I'm having a conversation with my co-host, and I have to make sure that you enjoy the music that's coming. So that's the. Did I answer your question?
But do you compose or is it very spontaneous?
Now it's spontaneous. It wasn't. But now it's second scale. You make me get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and ask, do not ask me to do a link now. You wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and ask me to do or introduce a song. Now I can. Now I can. After 13 years, I can. But it took a while. It really did. Because actually, it still gets really frustrating on really bad days. And all of us have really bad days. So it does. It gets a little frustrating.
I have a tip. I had a PA who said, it's not because you have a bad day, that means you have a bad life.
Right.
Bear that in mind.
Right. Okay.
So no bad hair days,
No bad hair days.
bad life days.
Have you done your NLP?
Yes, I have done my
You've heard of anchoring?
Yeah.
The concept of anchoring, I think, comes from this maybe.
Yeah.
It comes from this concept of the really jockeys anchoring actually, maybe.
Yeah.
When you get into a room, you have to
You have to anchor yourself to that particular space and honor the role that you're playing in that space. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, have you ever had a situation, particularly with Bollywood music, where you think the music is absolutely rubbish and you have to be enthusiastic about it?
You mean
And
absolutely?
how convincing would you say
somebody
you are
paid you
with
to be
it?
enthusiastic.
Because Bollywood music has a lot of rubbish out there.
It's great. It's amazing.
Charity Gui dance.
Great, guys.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of music that I've heard that I have to admit I'd be very hard put to be enthusiastic about. Bollywood particularly.
But then you're not a radio
Thank
jockey,
God.
you know.
I don't have to be honest about it.
Yes. But okay. So I was the thing about music.
Yeah.
What I've come to realize is how subjective it is. Right? What is absolute rubbish to you, to somebody else, it'll make their day. And this happens to us when we do our music research. So we do this, I think, every 3 months or 6 months. I can't remember exactly when. Where we get in a group of people in a room and we play about 50 songs for them. Not the entire song, but just a bit of the song. And they need to respond immediately. And then there's a graph that plays for us at the back. So if they really liked it, the graph goes up and all of that. When that research result is in front of us, Tahira, I cannot even tell you how surprising that is.
Right.
Like a Honey Singh song, right? How many Honey Singh fans in this room? You're from Bangalore, put your hand down. You are not a Honey Singh fan.
Wait, degrading language.
What is that?
Share module.
Yeah, so a Honey Singh song which we thought, because it was full of references to alcohol and women and a buffet of women, it's like really,
Yeah.
but it did so well. It did so well because somewhere it resonates with someone. So I think you kind of after some time you resign to the fact that okay, you might not like this, but there are probably
There are also people
500
with really bad taste.
Sure.
But it shows here. It's like
Subjective.
Absolutely, but it's subjective.
It is. But they're entitled to their bad taste, in fairness.
Yeah, and you're calling it bad taste, for them it's just taste. It's just
Particularly with
For
Bollywood,
them,
I'm
what
sorry
your
I'm
taste
taking
is
this
is
off
bad
on
taste, no?
another
Because they like
direction,
something
but one of the things that is such a big conversation in India particularly. One is there is no proper censorship. And we have these songs that are filled with nonsense lyrics that children are hearing and teenagers are hearing, and all
It's
of
a
this.
fantasy.
There is fantasy,
4 bottle vodka.
and then
कोई पी सकता है?
so rightly said, and I see little kids singing and dancing to it, and I sometimes wonder, do you guys even have any idea what this entails? I'm talking about the music. So personally, sometimes as a parent, there is music I have objected to.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. But honestly, at the end of the day, how I justify it is that I am nobody to judge. I'm not going to judge your taste in music because I don't know who you are. I don't know what your story is that makes you like Honey Singh, and I'm not going to judge it.
But I think that's not the case with Bollywood music only. Even the Hollywood music is like in terms of lyrics, there are many songs that are way above than Bollywood.
I think it's with music.
Yeah, so it's not specific to Bollywood, to be
In any
honest.
language.
It's like any language song.
Many
that
times
like
people just hear music, not the lyrics.
Correct.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's the world where we are more into the sounds rather than the lyrics.
Yeah.
The beat is good, we just go by it.
Not
Maybe
everybody.
we are just singing along with it, but we don't really register. As she said, the words are like.
Also, different people hear different things. Like I am a lyrics person, so I'll go to the lyrics immediately. So a Yo-Yo Honey Singh song might have the sickest beat, but I will not like it because I don't like the lyrics. But if there is a song that it doesn't have the best tune to it, but the lyrics are fabulous, I'll get drawn to that. So again, that's why music is just so subjective. Like I cannot listen to instrumental music; it drives me up the wall because I'm like, how does this make sense? Can you say something? Because this is just bling bling. It's just going from one instrument to the next. I cannot do this. So music is so subjective, and that's what I love about music in general. Is because of the moods. So it can improve your mood. It can depress you further. It's when you're feeling lonely and you listen to somebody singing about loneliness, you're like, okay, there's another human being out there who feels the same way.
You're talking about Mr. Lonely?
Who's that Akon? Was this? It's called The Beautiful Let. I have The Beautiful Letdown tagged here. It's about my dad, about my biological dad who I never met. I call it beautiful because I somehow relate to him even though I did not know him, which is a concept I'm still trying to grasp. So I don't know how many of you would understand. How do you miss someone who you've never met? And I've never met my biological dad, but I miss him. And I don't know why. I'm still figuring that out. And the letdown is because it's a letdown that I never got to meet him. It is also a badge of honor for depression because I've gone through depression twice in my life. So it was a beautiful letdown because I wouldn't have learned everything that I learned about myself, about other human beings, about just human behavior in general if I hadn't gone through depression. So that's what makes it beautiful. So it's like a
Did you go through depression when you were on radio?
Yeah.
Is it a Bangalore thing that people who are depressed and don't talk about it?
It's a Kerala thing.
There's this chick called Deepika Padukone or something.
She also
Her father was a badminton
Oh my
player.
God, shame on you.
So-
Shame on you.
She has been very bravely talking about depression. And it's great. As in, depression happens.
Right.
But not everybody is able to express it or talk about it.
I think
And I think more of us need to.
what happens with depression, it makes other people very uncomfortable because you don't understand it. Which is why the minute the depression came up, all of you started talking really loudly. Because it's the first thing that you do with, oh my god, it's going into a really like intense space. What do I do? Let's talk and laugh. So depression makes people very, very uncomfortable. People who don't understand it. Or have no idea about it. But yeah, I think Deepika also comes from a background where her parents have always encouraged her. She's surrounded by people who talk about it. And I 100% agree that it needs to be talked about a lot more. I think especially in the Desi community because it's such a taboo, right? It's like, snap out of it, it is just a phase. You're
And
just
they
sad.
even say that, think of some positive thoughts, probably that's one of the most ridiculous.
What did you describe? Like, what was you met it twice and you fought it twice. So
I'm fighting it the second time, but I
something must be there must be a driving force, right?
Therapy, honestly, therapy, as much as in the Indian society and in our Desi community. Yeah, but you have family, talk to me. No, that's the problem, right? Because when you have a problem that, I don't know how many of you felt this way, where there is something inside you that's missing, or you feel like there's something inside you that's broken, but you can't figure it out. You don't know where that sadness comes from. And when you go to your mom or when you go to your dad, there's so much baggage that comes with it, right? Because she's your mom and she's your dad, or she's your sister, or she's your best friend. So she is always going to be on your side. She's going to tell you things that you want to hear. But when you go into therapy, here's this person who has no clue who you are. You have to recite the story of your life from scratch. That's the only frame of reference. So this person is not going to be scared to tell you that, listen, what you're saying is not what it is. Look at it this way. So I think the strength that I got was from therapy, for sure. And also because, and then I became a certified counsellor, and I've always psychology books, right, when I was growing up. It was like foreshadowing when I was like 2 years old, that listen, you're going to be depressed in a few years. But yeah, I think also I was just always very aware of what I felt like. Feelings have always been very, very important to me. So yeah, I think therapy would be a...
In the way you were handling depression, was medication part of it? I mean, I ask that because I can relate to a lot of things what you said with my daughter. Because she still calls me a biological father. So I'm just telling. And then I could sort of see floodgates open in the way you sort of spoke about it. But apart from therapy, but do you also take any medication?
I did for some time, but I hated it.
But you were able to stay off it?
Yeah. Only because I really didn't like what it did. I have nothing against medication for mental health. I have a problem with the dependency on them. And I think what medicine does for mental health is it just numbs you.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you feel nothing, but that's not what I want to do. I want to figure out why I'm feeling what I'm feeling, not stop it. Because these feelings are teaching me whatever. So I want to learn whatever I can from these negative feelings for a bit. And then I want to park it. But I don't want to numb it.
How do you identify that you have it?
How do I identify?
Because it's very different from being sad or upset or whatever, right?
Again, depression is extremely subjective. So some people are predisposed to it. I'm predisposed to it because my biological dad was very, very depressive. And he had a few mental health issues. So I'm predisposed to it, which means even the slightest chemical imbalance will push me that way. Because I was aware of it and because I had done the kind of research that I had done in psychology and my counseling training and all of that, in my head it just ticked all the boxes. I'm like, okay, please go see a therapist. That's how I picked on it, only because I was aware myself. If I had relied on other people, I would have never gone into therapy because people would have just said, you're just sad. Listen to happy music. What do you mean listen to happy music? But yeah, distract yourself. The worst is distract yourself.
Once you, if you're going through meditation, depression, so you actually realize that you are into depression, and or is it like you have overcome it and then you think that things are happening positive in my life, so that period would have been my depression period? It's quite a...
How you know
Can
that?
you describe
Like, I'm going through a depression, so you can just say that I'm into a depression, or once you have overcome the depression, you say that that was the depression period for me, and now the things are happening good for me.
You know, before or after or during? That's his question.
During.
How do
You realize during the...
You are going through a depressing phase and you realize that you are in a depression.
What signals do you see?
What signal do you see of being in a depression?
Okay, I'll describe a few of the symptoms that I've had. But just remember that these symptoms are not the same for everyone.
Yeah.
Because, like I was saying, some people are predisposed to it. Some people have triggers, like parents separating, divorce, losing all your money, stuff like that. So there are different triggers for different kinds of, again, depression is also so layered, there are different kinds of depression. Like the triggered depression, and I use this word very loosely, is easier because then you know exactly what to trace it back to. It's like, oh, okay, you lost all your money. You know what I'm saying? Okay, just easier to trace back. Predisposed depression, or my kind of depression, it's very hard to figure out exactly what's gone wrong. So the symptoms are basically this. It's sadness. It's just you cannot figure out where the sadness comes from. It's you wake up in the morning hopeless completely, but there's everything right with your life. You've got a great job to go to. You're probably in a really great relationship, right? Whether that's a boyfriend or whether that's a girlfriend or whether you're in a marriage, you're in a really great relationship. You have a great job, great apartment that you live in. You're successful. You're making money, but for some strange reason, you feel hopeless. There is very little energy to do anything that you like, and nobody, including yourself, can understand what's going on. Why are you feeling like this? And I know I went through that. My first bout of depression was in a phase where everything was going right, and I just couldn't understand it. Like, everything's okay, and that's what people try and tell you, which is, I think if there's one thing I could tell all of you today is if somebody is going through this, please do not tell them to snap. Or please do not say it is just a phase or it's just a day. Just give them 5 extra minutes. Or, actually worse than that, is do not look at them and say, yeah, but look what you have. Yes, I know that. I am aware of all the good things that I have in my life. But despite that, I feel awful. That's a big sign. That's actually one of the biggest signs. When you know that in this person's life, everything's perfect. So why the sadness? That's a big sign. So
A
it's
kind of melancholia and
melancholy, yeah.
say sleep.
I'm sure you're so expecting this letter from me. Just want to say a big thanks to you for giving my band a very first such a huge radio station, and also being so kind enough to call us back again and again, giving us such amazing opportunities. Really means a lot. It's just given us a lot of recognition. So always thankful to you, and so always be the wonderful person you are, wonderful actress, wonderful radio presenter. Just be wonderful as you are. Thank you so much.
Who's he?
Kamil, who is one of our artists that we put on air here in Dubai. He's actually a really good singer.
Fantastic. Just follow his Instagram.
Yeah.
So now, having assessed music for so long, or kind of playing it out for the world, have you learned some? Do you sing?
Do I sing?
Yeah.
Would you like to sing?
No, I don't. Not here, not right now, but I do occasionally. I've done my share of musical plays and stuff like that. No, because no. But yeah, I've always wanted to learn the guitar for like the longest time. So, but
For me, Argentina, something like that.
so I've wanted to learn the guitar for the longest time. I did not promise you anything.
On air you're seeing this.
On air? What?
You like.
I know, but I didn't promise anything. So yeah, so I wanted to learn the guitar, which I might. I'm actually planning to enroll in a few classes because I just like being surrounded by music all the time.
I'd like to ask you, please.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So the first guest had expressed his inner dream to move into training after all he's done, what he's done in his field. Now, in my opinion, you really achieved a lot in theater, achieved a lot in radio. Where do you see yourself?
5 years.
In the next 10 years, where do you see yourself in the future? Where do you think happiness lies for you in the future?
Ooh, happiness.
Pursuit of happiness.
Ashwarya.
Are we asking too many difficult questions?
No, it's not difficult questions. It's just questions that I haven't thought about. I'll tell you why I have a problem thinking about 10 years from now. All I've done my entire life is plan for the next day. So what I'm doing currently is just one day at a time.
But where do you see happiness in whatever you experience
the next day?
Yeah, see? Exactly. I was like, okay, this is perfect. I don't have to plan it for a week. Where does happiness lie?
In your opinion, after all you've been through, where do you think it lies? After a certain age, we tend to realize that this is what I live for, this is my purpose. Have you reached that level?
I think will eventually lie when I can help. I'm going to borrow this from you. Give back. So my dream, if I can be as bold as stated here, is to build a halfway home. I don't know how many of you are familiar with a halfway home. It's basically for teenagers and adults or young adults who have nowhere to go and feel like they're not understood. I want to build homes for them where I can just, through theatre, through drama, through counselling, through NLP, through however I can, help these kids out and help these adults out. So I think my happiness will eventually lie in seeing or in seeing other people happy. As Gandhi-ish as that sounds.
You have your purpose already. You have your purpose already.
I have my purpose. I know I'm going to get there, but I have my purpose. Yeah. I've actually never told anybody this. But it's
You know,
Gandhi-ish as
wait,
well.
wait. She won't ask. Do you know the tool for identifying a purpose in life?
Do I know the tool? No.
Yeah, there's a tool actually. For those of you who are here for the first time, or not listen to this, there's a tool which actually says draw a sine cos wave, up and up, up and down, and look at all the highs in your life. See what made you the happiest, write them down. See what are the things that made you really, really sad, and see how you can connect the two. And if you can connect the two, then you will identify your purpose. And what he just now said, is you connected the two.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
The halfway home for kids is because you're talking about your experience, which is your lowest point in time in life, and you wanted to give back to society, which was about.
Yeah.
So you actually did it.
Yeah.
So it's just about putting it into place now.
Yes.
Okay. Samir got the amazing part of the analysis. See, here I wanted to reflect on what you said. Yeah, you just describe your purpose, and at the beginning you said I'm going to help, kind of like.
I said I'm not going to heaven.
Yeah, kind of.
Doesn't make me automatically go to
See,
heaven.
fair enough.
There's always a halfway home. Halfway home.
As I'm trying to say, your purpose, this one, will not take you to hell. Yeah.
Hopefully. Okay. Okay.
So it's a big ticket, you know.
It's a big
This is one, and actually I connected with your personal story a lot, and maybe that's another one. So we can connect later.
Yes.
And one thing, I just wanted to know what's written in your hand.
Yeah. Oh, the beautiful letdown.
It says,
The beautiful letdown. It's that's what I was describing. It's kind of it's like a badge of honor for the dad that I never knew and my depression, because both have been letdowns in my life, but they've been really beautiful because both have taught me very valuable lessons.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
The guy from Bangalore would like to ask.
And then the guy from Mysore would like to ask another
Are you
question.
from Mysore?
Yeah.
My mom's entire side of the family is from Mysore.
Maybe you're related.
Okay.
Depression comes. Something that she said which was a little intriguing, so I'm just speaking from where she left. She was talking about, no, not you.
okay.
You said you don't believe in masks, so since now we're talking about depression.
I didn't say I don't believe. No, I said that mask doesn't fit our personality.
Their personality is more of a role player, not
But
a
mask is very rigid.
I think she's tough on herself, maybe.
Yeah. But it doesn't align with her personality. That's what
I think that's where I was just correlating this with depression. all of us wear masks. Most of us deny it. We really must have courage in admitting it. For example, the mask that I wore when I was a kid, when I was a timid boy, it kind of helped me grow up, break away as a cocoon and blossom into a butterfly. So I just want to ask us, with this mask, can people wear the mask not to fake it,
No.
but to come out of depression?
Of course. Absolutely. Because it protects you, right?
Exactly. So it's
That
not
mask
fake.
protects you. It's self-preservation.
It's a shield.
It's a shield.
It's a
Exactly.
shield.
It's
It's not
self-preservation. No, which is why when I said mask, I automatically, or rather immediately went into talking about how I don't mean faking it.
Yeah.
I just mean sometimes you could protect yourself because it's a shield. You're putting the shield up because behind the shield you're figuring out what's happening inside, but you've still got to live life, right? So if I walk into work without the shield, I'm going to be walking around this sad, mopey little thing. But that's not going to make me very productive.
So this is courage, and there is also a big
It's a form of courage, yes.
and it's a big difference with the shield and the screen, because the shield is totally with opacity, which
Yeah.
the screen let you
See through. Yeah.
So that's why I think mask doesn't apply for you and doesn't align with your personality at all.
I think when
It's courage. It's courage.
yeah, I have a very different
Yeah.
idea of mask, but yeah, definitely.
What's stopping you from starting your hobby at home as soon as possible?
Definitely helps. In fact, I'd encourage it.
Does the acting part help you play different roles?
Yeah.
Like, you can enact, and does that help you with whatever you're going through in your real life?
Oh my God, I cannot even tell you how much. I think, so you were asking about the strength, right? I think I forgot. It's a good point. Theatre helped me so much through that phase, still does. Is because temporarily you get to you leave your life and you're leading somebody else's. And it's catharsis because if it's an angry scene, all that shit you carry with you and you put it into that scene. Or if it's a sad scene, or if it's a comedy, it's great because it lightens you that much more. So acting definitely helps. I think I'm a better actor because of my depression, quite honestly. But yeah.
I just want to connect one. You were into theatre as well. What was your reason to get into theatre?
Didn't have much of a job to do
Okay.
to begin with, and
Very honest.
and in college I was in theatre because it was anything better than sitting in a math class.
Okay.
So, but I definitely liked it.
Did
I
math
didn't do
class make you depressed?
not really, but I didn't probably do it as much as she did. I mean, I acted in, we had this thing called a supper theatre in Chennai, where there's this hotel called Sindhuri, I think it still exists, I'm not too sure, where we used to put up plays in the night for people who came for dinner. It was just easy money to make, it was good money to make, but I don't think it was as serious as what she did. But it was a learning. The thing I can share with her is you kind of learn how to project, learn how to do things that are probably not natural to you, but you get more comfortable doing that as you go along.
Yeah.
And some people who do it really well become good actors. Yeah, and it's just that. I mean, you learn to project personalities or the roles that you play, which I think is phenomenal because she's using it in her radio.
Oh
RJ.
yeah.
Totally.
The theatre performance made me a better radio person as well.
I have a couple of very mundane questions probably.
Yeah.
I've always wondered this. This is mundane, so please. Yeah.
First, where from India are you?
Sorry?
Where from India are you?
Not Bangalore.
Chennai.
He's from Chennai.
Thanks. So what
It's still South India.
what do RJs do in between songs?
That's not the way it is, like.
We're on WhatsApp
Okay.
a lot. We update. No, honestly. What do we do between songs? We prep for the next stuff that's coming up. So if there's a important news story or a Bollywood whatever, if I'm on my own, then I'm going to be just basically prepping of how to say it or what to say it. Or what to say about it, because that's really important as well. I can give you the news, but my personality will only shine if I tell you what I think of it, which in the radio fraternity is called a take. What is your take on the story? So you're basically prepping how you will deliver the story and what your take is. Ideally, that's what a radio presenter should be doing. Whether I do it or not is questionable.
So which kind of touches on the second question I was going to ask you, but I think you hinted at it. What would you say from your profession would be the creative part of it? I mean, why I ask that is because the songs are somebody else's. You're going to play somebody else's music, and the request obviously is someone else's. How do you bring yourself into this? Where is the creativity? Because clearly you come from a theatre background. From what I can see, there's a lot of creativity. How do you bring that in? What's the creativity part of it?
I think because radio is so much theatre of the mind, I need to be creative every single second of when I'm on air. Because I need to find creative ways of telling you that in Abu Dhabi, they have from 12th of August taken off the buffer, the 20 kilometer buffer. Because you've heard this since that's what happens. Oh, it's a TV series. Sorry.
Yeah, I have two questions. Entertain one more for me, please.
Absolutely.
Is this show? I haven't heard the show. I'll be honest. Is it a show where you take calls?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the worst call that you take?
Funny stories on here.
I mean, because it's legendary radio. When people call up, sometimes people use it as a a method to vent, or you even have stalking on radio. You have all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So, what would be your pet story to tell in that area?
Oh my God, there's so
The questions are not getting easier.
tougher.
You can say 10. So I asked him his best. He's asking you your
No,
worst.
my worst.
Your worst.
Or your funniest, or your strangest, or your quirkiest, whatever.
Funniest story on here.
I think so. What we do is honestly now we've lost the joy of strange and funny and quirky because we screen callers. Radio is aged as well, so we call people, but if you sound weird, we'll hang up. No, I mean we'll say bye, but like you're not going to. You know, like just like.
Wow.
I think the.
I can't hear you.
Yeah. Exactly. But I don't know. Okay, so the strangest I was in Bangalore, and because I still don't know if it was a prank or not. But I got a call, and in Bangalore we weren't screening calls. It used to just get patched onto your console, and there was this boy. And he was talking about his day and all of that. I'm like, okay. And then he's like, I want to thank you. So I said, why do you want to thank me? He's like, I was standing. Okay, this is going to make things really awkward, okay? Just putting it out there. He's like, I was standing on the edge of my terrace, waiting to jump, and I didn't. And this is live, on air. He's like, okay. And I didn't know what to do with that because I didn't know whether I was supposed to encourage that conversation or whether I was supposed to cut it short. I cut it short. I spoke to him off air, but I think that would have had to be my strangest on-air moment because it's just you don't know what to do with something like that.
Awkward.
But what happened? Did he die or not?
No. Hopefully, I mean I don't know if he stopped listening.
But so you saved somebody's life on that day.
I think so, but I
You're not in touch?
No. I have enough depression in my life.
So that's another ticket for heaven.
Talking about.
I see what you're doing. I can see what you're doing.
She's the one in charge, by the way.
She's the gatekeeper for heaven.
Exactly. Ladies section only.
She's the gatekeeper.
Ladies section.
Actresses from Bollywood.
Yes.
Iman is catching a crowd. Gathering the crowd.
Talking about actresses
Ladies
from Bollywood playing radio roles.
Yeah.
Vidya Balan played two RJs.
Yes.
Once in
Tumhari
Nagera
Sulu and
Ho
once in Nagera.
and Tumhari Sulu. Which one is your choice?
Tumhari Sulu.
Sulu se kaun baat karega?
Yeah. And
Bilkul.
also a little more authentic. I think that was a little more authentic, a more authentic portrayal of what a radio presenter is like.
Yeah.
Like in Munna Bhai, I couldn't understand why she was sitting in front of a mic and screaming. It's a mic.
No, but this guy Rajkumar Hirani is over the top. He is a good whitewasher, talking in terms of what he's just done.
Yeah.
Are you planning to get into the movies?
Ah, I like how you said that. I'm already in the movies.
Okay.
Are you looking for co-partner?
Sorry?
Are you
No,
looking for a co-partner?
we've already made a movie. So
Too late, son.
we made an English movie here in Dubai. I was going to say Bangalore. In Dubai, it's called Beneath the Sea of Lights. It stars Barkhad, Abdi. He was in Captain Phillips. I don't know how many of you
Yeah, I
watched.
heard about this one.
Yeah. So we have the director sitting right here of the movie. That's Neil. So we made that movie here. So I'm already in the movie.
What's the name? Beneath
Ashwarya.
Beneath the lights.
Beneath the Sea of
What's
Lights.
the movie about?
What is the movie about? It's about a Somalian billboard repairman who wants to experience all the products that are on his billboard. And then one fine day, a con artist sort of takes him under his wing and teaches him how to experience those products. And then that leads him from one experience to another to
Is
another.
it a full-fledged movie or just a short movie? What is it?
Full feature.
What's your role?
I'm opposite Barkhad, so I play his interest.
The director is looking at her.
Because the director's also going to tell me whether I describe the movie properly or not later.
You did.
But
So what nationality do you play?
interesting question. What nationality do I play?
We never talked
We
about
never
that.
talked about that.
I
But
like
we
that.
never talk about it purposely in the movie either. Like I could be from anywhere.
Bangalore.
Yeah. Yeah, she could be from Bangalore.
So is it the same person who played the Somalian in Captain
Yes,
Phillips?
yes, that's Barkhad.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So he's our lead. He's our lead. Jim Sarbh is our second
Nice.
lead.
He's the one who gets shot the second time or the first one in the Captain Phillips.
Barkhad
Can
gets
I
shot
answer?
the first time. or the second?
Barkhad doesn't get shot.
Yeah, he
No, he
doesn't get.
doesn't.
He's the only one
Oh.
who survives.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy who got the Oscar nomination.
Okay, okay.
Then look at me, I'm your captain.
Oh, okay.
The guy who delivers that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
That's the guy.
When
That's
is the movie releasing?
That is a secret. Early 2019, but we don't have a date yet.
Okay.
We're editing.
You know the difference between a movie and a, what was that? Film. You know?
Do you need any pirate?
I have a pirate and a hijacker, and she's kind of.
Do you know what's the difference between movie Pirates of Caribbean?
what's the difference between movie and film?
We had the first.
We had Naila Al-Khaja here. You know Naila?
Yeah.
She was asking us one of these questions. So what's the difference between a movie and a film?
You should ask that to the director. That's
That's what happened.
I think for me, a movie would be something you make for money. A film is something that you would make from the heart.
Oh,
You're right.
You're almost there, but
Yeah, almost, yes.
Film is when it makes movie, it becomes a movie, right?
When making
when
movie.
it makes money, it becomes a movie. That's where it moves.
When it's featured to make money.
Yeah. Okay. For me, it would be the intention behind the feature. But yeah, sure.
You know, I have one question. You know, I've been waiting for a long time to ask this question. You see, you know, when we speak to our parents or something, they can make out even the slightest change. You know, is everything all right? You know, just in the word hello itself.
Yeah.
So when you go on air and you've done all this anchoring thing, and when you come out, have any of your co-RJs or anyone said, you know, like that they could spot something was wrong?
When I was on air, when I was talking on air.
Yeah, after that, you know, like obviously you go into a different zone when you go in there, but still sometimes
The
the
mask
shield
falls. Yeah.
falls. Has it happened? I'm just curious.
A lot of the times. A lot of the times. A lot of the times. Like there've been times where I've had to leave the studio. I've had to tell Lokesh I can't do the next link. He's had to do it alone. I've had to gather myself and then come back. Which is, I guess, one of the advantages of doing a show with somebody. So yeah, no, it happens a lot of the time. People can tell from your voice.
That make you authentic and
If I express that on air, I don't know what purpose okay, I get what you're saying. Because there can be a lot of people who relate to it. But then there are a lot of people who are going to be very uncomfortable. Because they tune. Also, you have to understand the nature of my show is at the end of somebody's day. Right? All they have done when they have logged on to the internet is read about what an idiot Trump is. And then what's happening in India and what's happening in Pakistan and the elections and just like sad news. The last thing anybody wants to hear at 5 o'clock in the evening is that you're sad as well.
The sync is when it's the first thing in the morning, right? You don't want to listen to the bad news first thing in the morning as well.
Doesn't
There's
mean
no
in the
time in the
afternoon.
day. Yeah, there's no time in the day.
But yeah, there is no time in the day. Because what do you turn to radio for? Entertainment. What do you turn to a Bollywood radio station for? Entertainment. My role at that point is to entertain. Unfortunately, my sadness is not going to be entertained. It might be for some people, but
This is your third
my third ticket to heaven. I should
She's at the gate, you know? She's at the gate to the next one.
I'm thinking, why not make my therapist? I should just why don't
Y'all connect.
I warn you.
What is the most funny memory you have where you really lost it and you start to maybe laugh and couldn't stop?
on radio?
Yes.
Every day. Okay, no.
But I mean, really lose it. Like you have to, you can't talk anymore.
I think so I can't remember the context of it, but it happened. See, I can't even. I just remember the memory, but I can't remember the context of it. But there was something that Lokesh, my co-host, said that we had not prepared for. So there are a lot of times where you go into doing a link. Link is the moment where you talk. We call that link. So we hadn't prepared that, and Lokesh said something, or he threw some funny line at me which I wasn't prepared for, and I burst out laughing so loudly that I had to step away from the mic, because my laugh, when I do laugh from the bottom of my stomach, is really loud. Because I remember when I laughed, he did that because it was so loud in his ears, and all of that kind of combined. I was like, I can't do it. So I'm looking at him, I'm like, I can't do this anyway. And I'm controlling the mic. It's like, yeah, the buttons are with you. You have to switch the mic on, and all this is happening on air because there is no way. And our new studio, so we've shifted into a really nice office, and our new studio is built in a way where I'm here and Lokesh is where you're sitting. Like that's how far Lokesh is. So I'm like, I can't do this. He's like, yeah, but switch the mic off. And I'm like, yeah, but where? So I think that was it.
And the most difficult word you have to, or name you have to pronounce, because that can also be source of
The Arabic name, French
No,
name.
actually, it was today. There's a Pakistani artist. Clearly.
Imran Khan?
Imran Khan.
Gaurav Khan.
So how do you announce that he won the election?
Exactly like that. Imran Khan claimed victory because we actually started talking about it before the numbers came in. So we said Imran Khan claimed victory, and then we put a lot of our Pakistani listeners on because it's a really emotional day for most people from Pakistan. Anybody from Pakistan? Here?
Normally there are
Really?
a lot of people that we have lost.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, so this was a really interesting moment, not related to your question at all. But, so I have a Pakistani colleague and I went up to her and I said, congratulations. She looks at me and she's like, you know what, congratulations to you as well. So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
That kind of makes sense. I was like, yeah, that actually makes sense. Because Indians should be congratulated as well because now, for once, maybe there's a way of hope.
Come on, catch first time.
Maybe we'll start cricket again. Maybe Sharjah will thrive again.
So we're coming to the end of the session. So
I mean, I do get paid.
Yeah.
Did she say something? I missed that.
if you can have a turn, reflect on it. Just listen to what they have to say.
Forward cricket.
You're with us? This is you? Yes.
Like to take reflections.
What are you doing?
When we started the session, you came a bit late, but Samir gave us a chance to speak about what do we get from awesome workers. And what I said was that you really don't expect the guest story and where it will take you. And today you were by far one of those examples which surprising. Now I like to put it in a metaphoric example, but I think we are looking at an example of the legendary phoenix bird who keeps coming out of the ashes to spread happiness no matter what crashes in your life.
Thanks.
I came with very little.
No.
I came with very little expectation, but when you mentioned about.
That's a very common first impression.
I'll tell you. I have a few. I mean, Awesome Walkers is a place where you get to read a book in 3D with the author or the authors, narrating it directly. But for me, it's a lot more deeper. I see in you, I see a hope for my daughter. She's been battling depression through various things, various years. She sleeps most of her time. She has attempted suicide. Fortunately, we were there to prevent it.
Is she here? Is she
No, in India. I travel to India about every month or two for 2 or 3 days. Been here for the last 15 years.
That must be difficult.
Yeah, so it's if the mountain doesn't come to Mama, then Mama has to go to the mountain. Different situation. So with you, I see tremendous hope for my daughter. That is for me the greatest message today.
It was so much of fun that in the beginning you were not going to heaven. Now you are at all.
You said heaven.
It was so much fun. This one was ticket. They have an agent as well. Please.
Now there's always a price for the ticket, but Iman will tell you about it.
No, I'm counting testimonies now. Like you're fast talking.
I've been looking for an apartment. You showed me heaven faster than I could find it.
She was not there when you asked the question about sadness. What you said,
There's a connection.
you have whatever happened in your life, your depression, your
Put the
balance
context
with
for
your father.
What are the questions?
What's the question? Yeah.
Sadness.
See, every episode of Awesome Walkers, we have a question. There are 2 questions. First question, every episode. Yeah, that's how it starts with. First question is, what's your name? And second question is always different. And today, the question was, what makes you sad, right?
What are you sad about?
What are you sad about? That was the question. So,
Everybody shared something.
What I shared was that I don't find happiness in my sadness, and you found it in 2 of the incidents in your life. That's what I want to achieve. When you pass that lane, what good it has done to you. Everything does good to you. Every bad experiences adds on to you, and it should be in a good way. And you've been able to. That's what I want to do. Whenever I pass through it, I pass the lane and then I look back. Yeah, this is why it happened, and this is what it's added to me. It's what polished me into a better human being, which you've been able to achieve.
Yeah. And those bad experiences usually are your greatest teachers.
Correct. Yeah. Very true.
I mean, what will happiness teach you?
That teaches us more.
One of the great
Please.
One is that we generally feel that people from Bollywood or from entertainment industry like radio jockeys or from the TV presenters, we feel that they're all glamorous and they don't have the.
Hey, I'm glamorous.
No, glamorous. But they don't have any problems or they have. They don't have any tensions like that. But from you, even if you're educated, we know that they also have problems, but we never feel that, when you see Shah Rukh Khan, you never feel that he has problems in
Because
his
we
life.
show you the side that we want you to see.
For sure, you have a lot of problems.
He has a problem.
Yeah, he has problems. But we never feel it,
A big problem.
Like if I talk to Alex or some, we know that he has problems. But some other cases like Shah Rukh Khan, we never feel that they have problems, or Deepika was that because of that glamour it gets covered. But sometimes right now I realize that okay, there are problems in
Most of
That was a
people
compliment.
die of suicide,
Iman, what do you want to say?
She's already.
Are you giving me another answer?
Seriously. Now, seriously, I'm going into a negative tone. So
My goodness.
I don't know, I've been reflecting now on what you said. I noticed that I have a couple of friends, such as like
Okay. At the beginning, when you started talking, I didn't like you. So I was like, why is she saying like that? And it's like not comfortable, yeah? That's what I felt. And I was saying, okay, fine. Force yourself to, just, okay. I've been trying to train myself to learn from your enemy or like to learn from somebody you don't like. Yeah. So okay, fine. Force myself. Okay, something good will be coming out of this. At the beginning, I'm talking about like.
What did I say in the beginning?
When you see someone and you like or don't like a person.
Yeah, that's my perception. Nothing towards you. And then as we go, there's like a lot of gifts I got.
Okay.
Which is true, like, because I've been forcing myself to say, okay, learn from your enemy or from somebody you're not comfortable with. Like, just to get yourself out of that.
Yes.
And today you proved that to me. I just want to thank you for that first. And second, also, I've noticed like a couple of other people around me, like as a friend, and they had that depression or something negative. So I was thinking, okay, well, they're giving all the negative energy of me or so whatever. And I have been reflecting on your something you said that like if I am in a situation where I'm depressed, don't ask me to be like happy or you have a really wonderful life. That's what I was doing with my friends. So I don't know what should I do with them. Like if they're like dumping all their negative energy on me, and seriously, like I'm trying to tell them you have a wonderful life. I don't know what should I do. If you have an answer for that, I'll be more than happy to know.
So usually, when somebody who you think is going through depression, don't fix it. That's not what they're looking for.
But
they're not looking to, no. They think they're looking to fix it. They're not. All they want is for somebody to listen to them and to tell them that this is not crazy. You're not going crazy. So if I came to you and I said, this is how I'm feeling, this is how I'm feeling, if I got this response that I'm going to give, I would feel like I'm being heard. Because what happens with depression, it isolates you because nobody understands why you're feeling the way. You don't understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling.
And sometimes you isolate yourself as well.
Absolutely. But why do I isolate myself? Because I feel like you're not going to understand. If I go to you, and by you I mean Jenny.
Yeah.
If I go to you, you're either you're going to ask me to be grateful for everything else that I have in my life, or you're going to ask me, or you're going to tell me, but you have such a good life, why are you sad? Or you're going to ask me to snap out of it, or you're going to give me solutions. Neither of which I want. I want you to listen to me, and I want you to make me feel like it's okay. If I tell you I feel sad and I don't know why, I need you to look at me and say, it's okay. It's okay. That's it. I just need you to look at me and say, it's okay. So if you don't understand what somebody is going through, the word that you can try and say is, listen, I cannot imagine what you're going through. Because I've not been in the situation that you've been in. I have not felt the feelings that you have felt. But just know that it's okay. Whatever you're going through is okay. You're allowed. Take your space, take your time. I'm here for whatever you need. If you want me to shut up and listen to you for 3 hours, I will shut up and listen to you for 3 hours because I'd rather you have it out than hold it all in. Instead of, look at how much money you make. Oh my God, look at the amazing apartment that you live in. No. Because the person talking to you who is sad just wants to be heard. Just wants to feel like it's okay. That there's nothing wrong with me. That there's nothing, I'm not.
Will sad song good?
Would, sorry?
Sad song.
Yeah, honestly, sad songs actually help me. Because it makes me feel like, okay, somebody gets it.
Who's your favorite singer?
We are reflecting.
No questions, only reflecting.
I think it takes considerable amount. One needs to muster a considerable amount of courage to talk about depression, not depression as a subject, but one's own depression. It's quite commendable that.
Absolutely.
You also help, or you make people reflect on how you went through the depression. It's not easy to talk about one's own depression. As a subject, we can always talk about, but to talk about ourselves and let people perceive you in the way they can. It's quite a commendable job.
I want to say you are one of city's best kept secrets. So though you have been on radio for 6 years, I claim to have a lot of friends at sea.
Okay.
and you were not one of them now.
But now I am.
So I guess you need a PR person.
Are you looking for a job?
I can recommend a few people.
Thank you. That was my way of saying thank you.
You know, the more sarcastic a person becomes, you know, it becomes such a fine art that the other person often does not get it, you know, it's the tragedy that happens with.
It's the story of my life. It's the story of my shut up, please. He's
But
often at the end of my sarcasm. That's it.
No, and often people who are very sarcastic are very sharp. It's just that the other person doesn't get it.
I have one question before we want to end this because
You said no more questions, huh?
a reflection. Because it was just
He's the boss.
He's the boss.
Yeah, I can change the rules.
That's what rules are for.
And she can finally sing that song too.
Yeah.
No.
I will.
I'm not singing. I
So, throughout this whole conversation, there was one thing that was going on in my mind. I was wondering, debating whether to ask it or not.
Please do.
When you're speaking about depression, when you're talking about your experience and everything, your tone is not matching the context in terms of how you're narrating it. So I'm wondering now, are you so detached from your experiences and having those experiences so that you can learn from them and explore them? Because you said you're taking your depression as a learning experience and understanding about that side of the mind. Did you say that? You said that, right? I think you said that.
What did I say? I often forget what I say.
Okay, no problem. The question is this. Your depression, how you're handling it,
Yeah.
and how you're looking at yourself.
Yeah.
Do you look at yourself as a third person sometimes?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. I think that will have to be a lot of NLP training as well. Because NLP, for those of you who don't know what NLP is, it's neuro-linguistic programming. One thing it trains you to do, especially in conflict resolution, is you step back. You basically step out and you look at, and it's a really interesting tool, especially when you have to figure out what you did wrong or what you said wrong or how you could have changed your behavior. Because ultimately, the only thing in your control is how you react, how you respond, and what you say. The only thing that you can control is yourself. You can't control anything else in your life. So NLP has this really interesting tool where you have to visualize that particular situation, and you have to view it as a third person. So there are 3 chairs. Imagine 3 chairs. You're on the 3rd chair, and you draw out that entire conversation, and then you. So I do that a lot.
It helps in the detachment part, especially when you're facing a situation like that.
I don't know if it helps in the detachment part. I don't think I can detach myself from my depression because it's always there. It sleeps and wakes up and sleeps and wakes up and sleeps and wakes up. It's also how much. I think I've realized it's how much control I give it. If I have my weekdays, which I do, it's like horrible. I'm really bad company on those days. But if I have my strong days, then I don't give it that much. So I don't know if it's detachment. I think it's maybe my tone is the way it is today because today is stronger. If you spoke to me tomorrow and if tomorrow is a weaker day, then the tone would be different. So I think it depends on day to day. It depends on day to day. It's the kind of control I'm giving.
It's almost like what you said, you know, that you lead day to day, you know, when you sort of ask.
Yeah, about the 10-year plan.
Beautiful.
I went through a lot of depression because I went through a lot of dreadful situations. The more you face it, the stronger you develop your stamina and the less you go into depression.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I'm far much older than you are, and this is a very encouraging note because the more you age, the more you find other ways, diversion, meditation whatsoever, and if you project only positivity, you get positivity back.
Mm.
And that's what you learn by aging. So you're on the right track.
Okay.
How about you?
So
I'm
it's the second
34.
person giving.
Yes, I will be the last. Majority of my question is asked because I was waiting for my question regarding the NLP part. So you are saying you have depression. I've been there many times from childhood. So I know this program in last 9 months, 10 months. He's my coach. So I do coaching in a different way. So you say depression and you say use detached. Do you do the anchoring to get detached, or you? I just want to make sure understand whether my understanding is correct.
I don't detach.
You still don't.
I don't detach. Because I learn so much from it, I don't detach. I don't think I can, honestly,
You
As-
dilute
sorry?
it. You dilute it.
I dilute it. I do. Day to day, I dilute it. Honestly, and this is not to sound morbid or overly negative, but I don't think I'll ever be without my depression. Ever.
No, you win. You win. She said win.
I don't have a problem with it.
It's an acceptance, perhaps.
It's an
As
acceptance.
you don't have a problem, nobody has a problem.
Exactly. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think depression is wrong. I don't think it's a disease. I don't look at depression as a disease. So it's okay if I have it. It's how I function, giving it absolute control over my life. And that's the problem, right?
You're literally illustrating how you want people to handle depression and depression people, the way you actually perceive.
Yeah, because and that's the problem. I think that's why depression makes so many people uncomfortable, because they automatically associate disease with depression. It's not.
And seen as a taboo.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a disease. It's not
It's a
contagious.
state of mind.
It's a state of mind.
It's not contagious, but it affects the people around you as well.
It reflects. Sure, reflects. If people around you don't know how to handle it, sure.
Would you say it's a chemical locha?
It is.
What is the option now? We have balance.
Imbalance.
Chemical imbalance.
Sure,
Chemical
of course.
See, it could have been easy if you said chemical imbalance. I know.
You have to refer him to Munna Bhai.
And now the card.
Somebody's like, can you wrap it up?
The question was correct.
What's my card? It says, leadership role is not given, it is taken. Similarly, responsibility is taken, not given.
What again?
Leadership role is not given, it is taken. Similarly, responsibility is taken, not given. I think for me, I think it's being, I don't know.
I think it's
You take
perfect
control,
because what you have done with depression, you have taken
Yes.
leadership over that. When you look at it, it makes absolute sense.
She's supposed
Yes,
to answer
very
herself.
No,
No.
but I would have eventually gone there. I would have eventually.
That's right.
I would
I
have.
told you guys are late.
Mysore and Bangalore.
Why did you find your brother?
Thank you once again.
Thank you.